on limit, all right, its limit of s approaches what? Infinity. Okay, now whenever you are differentiating or whenever you are solving of limit of s approaches infinity, the first step you take is that you divide by the highest power of the variable. Yeah, you divide by all through by the what? By the highest degree. Now, for example, if we have a question, a limit of s, or let me make use of n approaches what? Infinity. So we are given 3n squared minus 5n, then all over 5n squared plus 2n minus 6. So whenever you have a question like this, so what you do, okay, you look at which of the highest variable, which of the variable have the highest power. You can see the highest power there is the degree of what? Of 2. So what you are going to do, divide through by the highest power of the variable. Then it becomes 3n squared over n squared minus 5n over n squared, then all over 5n squared over n squared, then plus 2n over n squared minus 6 over n squared. So from there, the next step, this can cancel out this. You'll be left with what? 3. Then minus what? This cancel out this, you'll be left with 5 over n. Then all over. Then this cancel out this, you'll be left with what? 5. Then plus this go with this, you'll be left with 2 over n minus 6 over n squared. Then after that, the next step you take, okay, after you got it to this place, is that any one of them that is still carrying what? The variable, that is the alphabet, you will limit it to be what? 0. Then it becomes limit of n approaches infinity, then 3, then minus limit of n approaches infinity, 5 over n, then all over limit of n approaches infinity, 5, then plus limit of n approaches what? Infinity, 2 over n, then minus limit of n approaches infinity, then 6 over n squared. So anyone with a variable, what you do, you limit it to be what? 0. So limit of n approaches infinity of a constant give you that same value. So this one is sitting as 3, then minus 0, all over 5. You can see it's having a variable, then plus 0 minus 0. So your final answer is going to give you what? 3 over 5. So that's it. So let's move to the next one. Alright, we have limit of s approaches infinity. We have 3s squared minus s minus 2, then all over 5s squared plus 4s plus 1. So from there, it becomes, don't forget, divide by the highest power of the variable. The highest power there is what? Power 2. It becomes 3s squared over s squared minus s over s squared minus 2 over s squared, then all over 5s squared over s squared, then plus 4x over s squared, then plus 1 over s squared. So from there, this cancel out this, will be left with what? 3. This go with this, will be left with minus 1 over what? X. So this go with this, still have 2 over s squared. Then all over, this can cancel out this, you'll be left with what? 5. Then plus this go with this, you have what? 4 over x. Then plus 1 over s squared. So like I said, anyone with a variable, you limit it to be what? 0. So it becomes limit of s approaches infinity, 3, then minus limit of s approaches infinity, 1 over x, minus limit of s approaches infinity 2 over s squared. Then all over limits of s approaches infinity 5 plus limits of s approaches infinity 4 over s plus limits of s approaches infinity 1 over s squared. So from there, limit of 3 give you 3, then minus 0, minus 0, then all over 5 plus 0 plus 0 we give you what? 3 over 5. Again, it's quite similar to what we did before. Thank you. Alright, so we have limit of s approaches infinity s squared plus x all over 3 minus x. So from here, so it becomes the highest degree is what? S squared. S squared over s squared plus s over s squared over 3 over s squared minus s over s squared. So this cancel out this, we give us what? 1. So this go with this plus what? 1 over x, then all over 3 over s squared minus this cancel out this 1 over what? S. So the one with the variable you limit it to be what? 0. So we give us what? Limit of s approaches infinity 1, then plus limit of s approaches infinity 1 over x. Then all over limit of x approaches infinity, then 3 over what? S squared, then plus, that is minus limit of s approaches infinity 1 over s. So we give us what? 1 plus 0, then all over 0 plus 0. So we give us 1 all over 0. And 1 cannot divide 0, which give you what? Infinity. Okay, simply that it does not what? Does not exist. So that is your answer. All right. So let's take limits of n approaches infinity 3n minus 2, then all over 5n plus 6, the raised to power 3. So from there, so it's very easy. So this same thing as the highest variable there is just n, which is same thing as 3n over n minus 2 over n, then all over 5n over n plus 6 over what? N, all raised to the power of what? 3. So this can cancel out this, so we give us 3 minus 2 over n, then all over this cancel out the, we give us 5, then plus 6 over n, all raised to the power of what? 3. So from there, so this is sitting as limit of n approaches infinity 3, then minus limit of n approaches infinity 2 over n, then all over limit of n approaches infinity, then 5, plus limit of n approaches infinity 6 over n, all raised to power what? 3. So this is sitting as what? 3 minus 0 over 5 plus what? 0, then raised to the power of what? 3. So we give us 3 over 5 raised to the power of what? 3, and 3 raised to power 3 we give us what? 27. Then 5 raised to power 3 we give us what? 1, 2, 5. So that is our answer. So endeavor to Lily, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more workings on calculus, okay, as well as other courses. Thank you.